Hello and welcome back to the BNI Southeast Tennessee podcast. My name is Michael Crosa and I'm here with Elaine. Elaine, it looks like you are dying to tell me something.
Oh my gosh, I got to tell you.
Okay.
We always talk about networking and of course, BNI, Business Networking International, right?
Yep.
But we just assume that our closest friends know what we do, right? We just assume that they know, right? I am embarrassed to even tell this story. So I have this small group of ladies that mean the world to me. And somebody in our group had mentioned that they needed to go get some blood work done. And they were like, oh my gosh, are you sick? What's going on? I'm like, no. They were getting some life insurance. And for whatever reason, she needed to get blood work. I don't know how all that works. But
me neither.
Yeah. So another person in our group said, well, you're getting life insurance? And she's like, yeah. She goes, I sell life insurance. Like, that's my job. That's what I do.
She might not have asked for blood work either.
No, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And I walked away from that going, oh my gosh, some of the people that we are closest to have no idea what we do, and they may be doing business with total strangers and giving their blood to do it, right?
Right, yeah, literally giving their blood to do business with strangers.
Right.
That's wild.
Right.
Yeah.
How often does that happen? And we probably think, well, that doesn't happen to me. All of my friends and all of my family know exactly what I do.
Right.
They don't.
Yeah.
And so we really, again, we think about networking, and it's always networking with new people and meeting new people and doing business with new people, that we forget that we have our own tribe. We have our own people.
Yeah.
Our
absolutely.
people need to know who we are, what we do, how we do it, and why we do it.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge eye-opener for me, Michael, to go, wait a minute, that's crazy. Because it's funny to me, like I'll do a one-to-one, which in BNI, that means two individuals sitting down outside of their regular meeting time to get to know each other better. Yeah. And they'll look me straight in the eye and go, now, what's your real job? And
what's your...
That, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And I do kind of crack up and I'm like, well, BNI is my real job. My real job is to connect people and help them grow their business. Like that really is my job. But obviously, I don't do a good job of it either. So that's what I wanted. Like that's what I was dying to tell you today is we need to network within our own people, within our tribe, and let people know who we are, what we do, why we do it, even though we might see that person every single day. Yeah, they don't know exactly what we do.
Yeah. I'm thinking about how this applies to podcasting and thinking about how many people know that I have a podcast, or they know that their friend has a podcast, but they don't know what it is. Or they don't know, they haven't really heard it or anything like that. And sure, there's a lot of podcasts out there, right? But thinking about the things that somebody's putting out there could be really valuable to this person over here. Or like, I've been trying to get in touch with the Chattanooga Lookouts. And it turns out like, oh, well, my friend Heather just did an interview with the Chattanooga Lookouts president.
Right.
Like, that's so cool. And getting to know that, getting to understand and getting to build that network.
But the other piece of that is not only knowing that you do a podcast or your friend Heather does a podcast, but where can I find that podcast?
Right.
How do I listen to it?
Yeah, you're right.
That's the biggest piece. Like when people say, oh, I got this podcast, you need to take a listen. Then I'm like, okay, cool. All right. I'm listening. I'm not hearing anything. Like, where do I go to listen?
It is. And I just assume that people know all the time. I just assume that people know like, oh, well, you go to Spotify or you go to YouTube or what. But a lot of people just don't. No. And a lot of people have been so supportive. And then they'll ask me something kind of odd, like, oh, well, what channel is your podcast on? Like, that's not exactly how that works. But yeah, so I think, there's so many elements of that of like, making sure that you are asking your friends and, staying on top of it. But then also, like you said, that it's your job to talk about yourself and your business, right?
Right.
So making sure that you're communicating, you're saying what it is.
So again, networking to your tribe, letting people know who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Absolutely. Well, Elaine, thank you so much for another great episode of the BNI Southeast Tennessee podcast.
Thank you, Michael.
Hey.